Highly sophisticated ventilation systems, oxygen, communication lines, and illumination, all at a depth of 80 meters under the ground. This was the infrastructure meant to be used by Hezbollah to send its fighters into Israel.
I mean, you see the investment, the time, the determination that went into it, and also you hear very clearly from the IDF the threat that it posed. So if fighters had come through those tunnels to attack civilian communities, they could have done horrendous harm to innocent people.
As part of the efforts by Israel to convince the international community to designate Hezbollah as a terror organization, European ambassadors flew above the Israel-Lebanon border in a tour organized by the European Leadership Network.
Europe is very important to the state of Israel. Europe is close by. It's a very big ally of Israel. And the European countries has to understand Israel's position in the situation that we are today.
They experienced firsthand, from the air and under the ground, the challenges posed by the Iranian-backed Shia militia. The Israeli efforts are already bearing fruits.
We have a common position on this issue. We also have sanctions that are in place for Hezbollah. However, in Slovenia in December, we took additional measure and we designated Hezbollah as a terrorist organization.
Lebanon may be in a deep political and economic crisis, and Iran has cut down payments to Hezbollah due to its own economic troubles. But the ambassadors saw that all this is not stopping Hezbollah from massive investments in preparing for a future war, which will be painful for Israel, but much more for Lebanon.
I was shocked. I was deeply shocked when I was told that it's an approximation that it costs 5 million euro or dollars per tunnel, and there are 6 tunnels. If all this money, all the energy had been dedicated to something more positive, for the benefit of the Lebanese population, maybe to protect them from the terrible explosion that happened in Beirut, it would maybe be better.
Hundreds of Hezbollah fighters were supposed to infiltrate into Israel undetected from this and other tunnels across the region. They were meant to conquer villages, storm military bases, and take hostages back here to Lebanon. This plan was thwarted, but on the other side of the border, sure, other plans are now being worked on. This is exactly what Israel is now trying to convey to the visiting European ambassadors. Jonathan Regev, I-24 News.